And I'm actually glad that our Minister is here to hear us speak on this, and I'm sure she has a good knowledge herself of all that happened in the famine. And as my colleague has said, we fully support the Famine Memorial Day Bill. And I think, to be fair to your own colleague, Deputy Colin Brophy had a similar bill here at some stage. But as my colleague said, we're very, very supportive of this. I suppose if we go back to 1845 with the failure of the potato crop, that famine lasted 6 years and 1.1 million lives were lost. Now, if that was happening in today's world, it would be seen as shocking, and it would have rightly have huge coverage, and there would be a massive attempt to help those people. If we take into account that 2 million people immigrated during the famine, the population of this island declined by about 1/3 due to the famine. If you look back to the years preceding the famine, the collapse of Irish manufacturing and sharp increases in our population gave rise to an intense fracturing of the Irish agricultural holdings. By 1841, 45% of agricultural holdings in Ireland were under 5 acres. As the size of the average agricultural holding dwindled, so too did the diversity of the average Irish peasant's diet. Peasants who had previously supplemented their staple diet of potatoes with herrings, milk and meat were increasingly reliant on potatoes alone for their sustenance. And potatoes were a remarkably high-yield crop. The speed at which the blight had spread astounded farmers and indeed scientists alike. Even seemingly healthy potatoes could quickly decay in storage, according to the historians, further impeding Ireland's food supply. As we know, by 1845, late 1845 to be precise, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom had initiated a poverty relief programme in Ireland. Corn maize was imported, distributed to local relief committees, and then sold to the peasants at cost price. Public work schemes would allow peasants to earn the cash wages needed to purchase the corn maize. This model of relief would not only provide minimum poverty alleviation, but also a hope to modernise Ireland. And of course, as we well know now, for a variety of reasons, including the lack of an efficient distribution network, the indifference of Irish nobility, and a failure to understand the Irish context, this poverty relief programme failed miserably, leaving Irish peasants in dire and desolate straits. It is only right and proper that the commemoration of the Great Famine happens at the same time every year, so that people can plan accordingly and that suitable commemorations can be planned across the country. Indeed, I think it will lead to a better understanding from all of our people, our young people in particular, about what happened and the great tragedy the famine of 47 was. And it somewhat saddens me that in today's world, that many of our young people don't know the history of what happened in the famine, the torture and poverty and heartbreak it brought to many families right throughout the country. And if I can become a little parochial for a few moments, Strokestown in County Roscommon, Minister, as you know, is the home of the National Famine Museum. And we're very proud to have that there. It's a place that attracts 50,000, 60,000 visitors a year. And I suppose you see exactly and you hear the story of what happened throughout many parts of Ireland, but particularly there, in that part of the west of Ireland. And 5,000 people left the area or died because of the famine in that locality. 5,000. Many got on ships in Galway, were lost going across the Atlantic. Some struggled, got to Newfoundland, got to Canada. In recent years, there was the missing 1,400 files, which was carried out with people at university in Maynooth in relation to the missing 1,400. And it traced many of those people, some who got to America, some who got to very, I suppose, good positions in American life, but many others were lost in transit. And there was one case of a family I think it was 7 left, and all but 2 were lost crossing the Atlantic. Some of them died on ship, some of them were lost. And there are many tragic stories like that. We were fortunate in Strokestown to have this national commemoration some years back. And it was a truly fantastic event. So here this evening, I want to give my full support to the bill, as my colleagues have. As I said, it is only proper and right that we would have a one-day commemoration the same day each year. And I think it will put this commemoration onto a higher pedestal, where it should be, on a higher pedestal. And I think it will become really an important part of our history that every school should know about, whether it's primary school, whether it's second-level school. That message or that story is not being told in a lot of places. And hopefully by doing this and pushing this forward, and I know it will have the support of the House, as I said, we'll put this on a new pedestal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Murphy.